It's 5:30, so we'll get started. This is Blount County Planning Commission. But before we get in session, we have to make the announcement in case of emergency. So if we will, please pay attention. Okay, we will call the meeting to order. And Madam Secretary, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
We do have a quorum. Okay, first thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the March 26th meeting. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Point of order, did we have a copy of the minutes? I haven't seen them.
They were emailed.
Okay, I apologize, I haven't seen them. Thank you.
Do we need to give you time to review them real quick? Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Hodge. Do we have a second? Have a second by Commissioner Wells. Are there any comments or amendments to the motion, to the minutes? Seeing none, if you're ready, let's please vote.
Motion passes.
The motion passes. Okay, we have no public hearings today. And this is the area when we have public input on items on the agenda. If you're here to discuss something that's on the agenda, now's the time to come forward and do so. Seeing no one, we'll move on. We have a site plan to review, and Cameron? Thomas going to be reviewing that, okay. Will you
Yes, sir.
please do so.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This site plan before you tonight is it's located at the corner of 411 South and Cedar Lawn Boulevard. It is a request for office and commercial spec buildings, so essentially shells. It is zoned commercial. This is an allowable use in that district. It's about 7 acres, just short of 7 acres. This is a little interesting because a couple of years ago, less than 2 years ago, actually, the Board of Zoning Appeals approved a special exception on this property for a similar but not exact use. It was for self-storage and RV and boat storage, all of which are not explicitly permitted uses in the district. Therefore, it had to get a special exception from the Board of Zoning Appeals, and they did approve that. This use being different and an allowed use in the commercial district falls under your all's purview for approval as a site plan. This is not unlike other shell spec buildings that we've done in the fairly recent past. William Blount Drive comes to mind. We had a few down there. Staff has reviewed this proposal. It does appear to meet all the applicable zoning regulations specific to design, lighting, et cetera. It will be served by public utilities. Staff would recommend approval, subject to all county and TDOT permitting, as well as TDEC permitting regarding stormwater, erosion, and grading. And prior to the issuance of any permits, the staff level would hold a pre-construction meeting with the applicant. That's all I have. I'm happy to answer any specific questions if you have them.
Okay, we have a motion to approve with conditions by Commissioner Giles. We have a second by Commissioner Sullins. Now, if we have any questions or comments.
I do. This is that property that has been filled over the years, is that correct?
It is, yes, sir.
Assuming it was filled and compacted correctly, where does the liability come if for some reason the owners experience any foundation problems from here forward? Is there a test or permitting for that? I guess that's just more of an education question for me.
Yes, sir. It's a great question, actually. So through the building permit process, these permits would fall under our department for review and issuing the permits. The building official would ask for geotechnical engineering that shows that the soil is stable and appropriate for the slabs that are being poured. So your question, who assumes the liability? In this case, it's going to be the engineer that signs off on it.
So once you get those engineering reports and the county issues a permit, would the county have a liability in that down the road if there were any type of faults now since they issued the permit? Or does it fall back on the engineering company that provides?
In my opinion, it falls back on the engineer because they're the professional with the seal, and they're the ones that's saying this meets whatever the test is. And that happens a lot.
Okay.
You know, where the county, you know, our building codes officials are great at codes. They don't necessarily know all the ins and outs, nor are they licensed to you know, specific geotechnical and compaction and all that. So they rely on that professional to provide the information.
Commissioner McClellan?
Not a traffic engineer, but the two entrances off of 411 in that right lane concern me without any kind of decel or anything. I know the state says that they are reserved the right to make final recommendations, but the traffic in and out there concerns me.
Do we know anything about the traffic studies, or is that?
So no traffic study was required for this project. However, like the letter says from TDOT, they ultimately will decide whether or not they're going to approve those driveways. It is their road. They haven't done so yet. It's in the preliminary review, and you know, see what happens.
Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Wells?
Yeah, there's one quick question. I had looked at this a couple of times earlier, and I'm just not wanting to make an assumption that once you enter the rear of the building, is there just one outlet between these buildings? What it looks like, as opposed to driving from one behind it. You don't have to go all the way down to the other end to get back out, do you? Not that that's necessarily a violation. I'm just of any kind. I'm just curious.
So that's another thing that's actually regulated in the building codes. There's a minimum for, and I don't know the specifics, but there is minimum egress requirements for fire apparatus, for example, and so they'll have to meet that. I'm assuming that they have, you know, met that with this plan, but our building codes guys will look at that before they issue the permits. And to your point, yes, it does look like there is one path between. The other ones do look too close to have a drive-through like that.
Thanks.
Any other comment or questions? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? If so, please do so. Let's see, motion passed. On hearings, we have no hearings tonight. No miscellaneous. Anything on long-range planning, Thomas? No. Any other reports?
Can I ask a question on that, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Long-range planning, for what we passed at commission, does that come back to you all for edit purposes?
It did already.
It did already?
Yeah, it came to us February or March, I believe,
Okay.
after we scheduled and held a public hearing. And then now you all are in your, 30-day period, I believe.
That's what we're getting ready to have the public hearing on our.
Yes, in June, I think June 15th.
Okay.
But yes, sir, it's already been here.
Okay, this is the time, if anyone's here and you want to talk about anything that's not on the agenda, public input on anything that we haven't been talking about tonight. If you have any interest, come forward. Seeing none, I think that takes us down to adjournment. I'll accept a motion to adjourn. All in favor? All right.